Hello, everybody. I'm here again to read another chapter of my horror story. It's called The Protectors of Earth and a Gateway in the Basement. Like, share, comment. If you like horror as much as I do, you'll love this story, I'm telling you. So, let's continue. They all look very closely across the big room. It isn't too easy to see across the boiling pool of blood as steam rises off of the blood. I think I see something very small next to the other door, Jacob admits. Wait a minute. I think I see what Jacob was talking about. Nick agrees. He also sees a very small bullseye right next to the door. Maybe if he hits the small target with one of his small throwing knives, that something will happen that will allow them passage over the pool of boiling blood and into the next death trap. Do you think that you can hit something that is that small and that far away? Rebecca asks. She is not that sure he can hit that bullseye, seeing that it's very small and is so far away from them. I guess we're about to find out. Nick grabs one of his small throwing knives. He takes a second to calm down so he can get more of an accurate aim, and then he throws the knife as swiftly as possible and makes its final destination in the middle of the bullseye. Nick raises both of his arms into the air, being proud that he hit something very small and a long way away. Great job, Nick. I didn't think that you could hit it from this distance. Frank congratulates Nick. Me neither, but I did. Maybe next time I won't second guess my abilities. A small drawbridge quickly connects both sides of the room to each other. I guess that I will go first, but just remember, be prepared to defend yourselves at any moment. Who knows what sorts of surprises that Balthazar has laid out for us. Rebecca very carefully begins to cross the very unstable drawbridge. Be careful, guys. This bridge feels like it is going to collapse at any moment. She resumes crossing the very shaky drawbridge, followed by the rest of her team. They all cross the bridge, one at a time, in a single file line. All four of them have their guards up, expecting anything to jump in front of them at any given moment. Once Rebecca is standing exactly in the middle of the bridge, her grandfather comes out of the door that they are trying to get to. He has a huge smile on his face because he is happy to see his two grandchildren one more time. Rebecca! Nick! I am so glad to see you once again, but I'm afraid that you come all this way for nothing. Balthazar can't be killed, and he is making sure that you won't be able to close the gateway once you leave. The headmaster stretches both of his arms outwards, trying to give both of his grandchildren a great big hug. Rebecca is skeptical about going near him. She wants to believe that she has her grandfather back, but she knows that he is dead because she was there to witness it with her own two eyes. Don't trust him, Becky. He isn't our grandfather. I can promise you that. He is a zombie created by Balthazar to get underneath our skin, Nick says. He does hope that it is his grandfather gazing towards them, but he knows for a fact that it is not. Now, you take your sword out and cut off its head. Rebecca brings the sword to an attack position, but she still cannot bring herself to take her grandfather's head, dead or alive. She feels if she decapitates the zombie, that even his memory is lost to her. If you don't kill the zombie version of the headmaster, I will do it myself, Frank blurts out. The zombie is standing in their way to completing their mission, and there have been way too many loved ones that got murdered by this mission for them to just stop and go home now. I'm sorry about this, grandfather. Just remember that we really do love you. Rebecca closes her eyes so she does not have to witness her grandfather getting killed again. But this time it will be by her own two hands. So she swings her sword and it slices off her grandfather's head. It then rolls off the bridge and into the pool of blood. His body falls off the other side of the bridge and into the pool as well. Rebecca reopens her eyes, but this time there are tears dripping down both of her cheeks. Just as they are about to resume their walk over the drawbridge, Miss Whitmore exits the door that they are trying to get to, so Jacob now can be tested on how bad he wants to get to Brittany. Will he kill his own mother to save his girlfriend? Oh my God, Mom! Jacob walks around everybody as he makes his way to the front of the line. That isn't your mother, Jacob. It is another test sent by Balthazar, Nick says. He cannot believe that Jacob actually thinks that he is looking at his mother. But Jacob walks over towards her with his arms wide open. They both give each other a huge bear hug. As they are hugging, Miss Whitmore's zombie looks at the rest of them with a sinister smile on her face. Miss Whitmore opens her mouth and is about to take a big chunk out of Jacob's left shoulder until Jacob smells rotting meat as his arms are around his mother. At that precise moment, Jacob takes his sword, pushes the zombie far enough away from him, and takes a swipe with his sword through the zombie's neck. Just like the zombie version of the headmaster, Miss Whitmore's head splashes into the pool of boiling blood on one side of the drawbridge, while the rest of her body goes overboard over the other side of the bridge. Jacob then walks back to his original spot in line. If there are no more zombies for us to kill, we will move on to the next room. Rebecca speaks a little loudly. So you don't mind killing the people who you care about the most? I'm actually surprised. But what will you do to get Brittany back alive? Balthazar's voice echoes throughout the entire room. Brittany! Jacob screams. He does not want Balthazar to kill her. I will do anything you want, just as long as you don't harm her. Jacob agrees with Balthazar. He does not want to do anything that the Master Demon wants. But he does not want him to harm his girlfriend, even less. No, he won't, because we won't let him. The only reason that you are keeping her alive is because you fear us, Rebecca explains, shutting Jacob up. She does not want him to say something that will make things worse. Let's go, guys. Just ignore Balthazar. Once we get to him, we can settle the score. Rebecca begins to walk towards the doorway that they are facing. Balthazar is disappointed. He figures the agents have a heart and will not let Brittany die no matter what he asks of them. I told you they wouldn't fall for your play. They know that you wouldn't stick to your end of the bargain anyways. Brittany is placed against the wall, wrapped up with human intestines around her ankles and feet. Yes, you did. But my question is, should I kill you now, or should I keep you alive? Balthazar asks himself. You know just as well as I do that you aren't going to kill me. Brittany sounds really confident in her words. Either that or she is blinded to see how much Balthazar despises humans. Are you sure? I just might tear off your limbs, just out of spite. Balthazar opens his closet door and grabs a crystal ball in both of his hands, cradling it like it is a toddler. Actually, I'm positive that you won't do anything to me. If you do, the field agents will definitely kill you. Trust me on this when I say they are very talented. Don't I know it? But what I have in store for them in the last room they have to get through, only the very best will be able to cross it. Trust me, Brittany, when I say they will die. They will die. Balthazar laughs. The odds are definitely in his favor, but there is a slim chance they will make it to him. He likes these odds, but it all depends on how talented the field agents for the Protectors of Earth really are. Once Rebecca enters the next room, followed by everybody else, still in a single file line, they witness that the rooms are getting much more difficult, as they all see dozens of zombies and Class B demons. But what they are surrounding makes it more difficult. But something new that they would have never expected from Balthazar. There are 6 Class B vampires and 1 very large werewolf in the room that they must pass. Balthazar has way too much power, and this worries them because they have never in any of their lifetimes has seen a masked demon that lurks in hell, have followers such as vampires and werewolves who resides in purgatory. No master demon should possess such power. What are we supposed to do with that big old bitch? Nick points towards the werewolf that is twice the size of anything else that is inside that room. We take his legs. Rebecca runs towards the big group of zombies. She runs towards them like a crazed person with a death wish. Sounds like a good idea, Nick remarks. Then he too follows his sister like a crazy person with a death wish. I feel sorry for the supernatural beings that are inside this room, Frank admits. Why do you say that? Jacob asks. When Rebecca and Nick hunt when they are mad, that is when they are at their deadliest. Frank joins his fellow field agents and runs towards the pack of beings, screaming at the top of his lungs. Jacob, on the other hand, stays where he is because he is not as good with any weapon as he would like to be. Not nearly as good as the three field agents swinging their swords around and chopping off heads. So he stands there and waits for the strays to start coming towards him. I still haven't figured out what to do with the werewolf once he wakes up, Nick tells his sister, as Frank's, Rebecca's, and his backs are all side to side, forming a small circle so nothing can get through. None of them want any supernatural beings to sneak up on them. If they allowed that, they would become food for something else. Don't worry about the sleeping beast at the moment. I want you to worry about everything else. I can't afford for anybody to get bit and turn into one of them right now, Rebecca advises. So Nick begins to fight as his life depends on it, which it actually does. As the pack of zombies, Class B demons, and vampires begin to get smaller, Jacob decides to join the group and screams at the top of his lungs as he runs towards the herd. As the pack of zombies, the werewolf's eyes begin to slowly open. Joel starts to slobber out of the side of his mouth, and it begins to faintly growl. He smells living blood and flesh. It is the only reason he is now standing up. He is now 4 times bigger than anything else in the room. The top of his head is touching the ceiling when he stands up on his 2 back legs, and now he's looking for breakfast. Becky? I think I'm in trouble. The first person the werewolf notices is Nick. What is it? Rebecca's in the middle of her own battle with a group of zombies surrounding her. She cuts off 2 heads with the same swing of a sword, but yet she is still overwhelmed with enemies surrounding her. I'm just to become dog food. The werewolf begins to walk towards Nick, while Nick slowly begins to back up, but there is not enough room for him to run away, so he grasps his sword as tightly as he can. Once the werewolf gets to him, which will be in a matter of seconds, he is going to start swinging his sword. If he does become this thing's food, he's going to take a part of the werewolf with him. Who knows? Once he is inside his stomach, maybe he might be able to slice and dice his way out. The werewolf now sprints towards Nick on all 4 legs, and with his sharp teeth already to sink into his flesh. He is all ready to go. The end is near for him. He can feel it coming. He just hopes that he does not hesitate. The werewolf then falls to the ground and slides right past Nick, howling in pain as it is now missing 3 of its legs. It is going to survive, but it won't be walking for quite some time. Rebecca walks over towards her younger brother. She places the left hand upon his right shoulder. Shouldn't we kill the creature? You do know that this thing will grow its legs back and kill again, don't you? Frank is surprised in Rebecca. Her grandfather taught them to kill every supernatural being that crosses the line when they come across them. Now that is a handicap I can take care of. Jacob already has his sword tightly gripped in his left hand. He stomps over towards the head of the werewolf. He stares into its eyes and listens to its whine. He thinks about losing Brittany in hell, and he wants to make every supernatural being to pay for it. So he takes his sword, swings it over his head, and takes all his strength and uses his sword just like an axe. Once the sharp sword makes contact with the werewolf's neck, it quickly slices through its neck, and then the werewolf plops upon the squishy floor, just enough to make an indentation. Very proud of himself, Jacob places his sword back into its sheath, and then walks back to the group of field agents. Are we ready to go? I bet that Brittany is wondering where we are to save her. Jacob exits through the next door that leads to the next room. The 3 field agents are very surprised about Jacob. He is gearing to go. They do not know if Brittany's safety is motivating him or not, but it does not really matter because he followed Jacob this time in a single file line through the door and into the next room. Their only wonder is what kind of traps Balthazar has laid out for them next. Whatever his plan is, whatever is his plan for them, they are confident that they will be able to handle it. All right, everybody, I got 3 more chapters, and the first book of my story is done. But like I said, I got second one written, third one written, and I'm writing the outline of the fourth one. But when I'm done this, I got a short story I want to share to you called Silent Screams, and it won me an award. So you want to stay tuned for that. Like, share, subscribe. You know the deal. All right, see you next time.